Hi again. Jesse Penn Lewis is a phenomenal person of God. I mean, she's more than just a woman. You know, people like to distinguish, say, oh, so-and-so is a woman of God, because women of God. I think Jesse Penn Lewis is on a par with the early apostles and prophets of God of the first century. Now, Jessie wrote this book. She was not a well woman. In fact, she died, I believe she was in her early 60s. And most of her ministry, she was not in good health. But she traveled around the world and was involved very strongly in the Wales revival. And all I can say is she may not have realized how prophetic she was. She did not claim to be a prophet. But the things that she saw and she wrote about, I'm not sure of the year, I think it must have been 1905, were things that have multiplied to the 59th power in our times. And Jessie deserves her props, and I give them to her. I say that she is the most important Christian in 3 centuries. She was born in the 19th century, died in the 20th century, and I'm living off of her words here, and I don't know how many others in the 21st century. But she was controversial, very controversial, and I will get into that in another video. Today, I want to talk about the topic that she has here in her book. Can honest souls be deceived? Now, the quick answer to that is yes, yes, yes. Honest souls, honest believers are the targets for deception. But the reality is that we are living in the age of Laodicea. And so this is the age of deception. And I believe we've been in this age since around 1905. So it's we're coming towards the end of it. The age of deception. So everybody deceived. But let's talk about, you don't expect honest people to be deceived. Here's what Jessie has to say about that. One prevailing idea which believers have deeply embedded in their minds is that honest seekers after God will not be allowed to be deceived. That this is one of Satan's lies to lure such seekers into a false position of safety is proved by the history of the church during the past 2,000 years. For every while of error, which has borne sad fruit throughout this period, first laid hold of devoted believers who were honest souls. The errors among groups of such believers some well known to the present generation. Now she's talking about before 1910. That's the present generation to her. The errors among groups of such believers, some well known to the present generation, all began among honest children of God, and also sure that knowing the sidetracking of others before them, they would never be caught by the wiles of Satan. Yet they too have been deceived by lying spirits, counterfeiting the workings of God in the highest ranges of the spiritual life. We have been studying that in rescue. I have been out of the institutional church for 9 years, and I pretty much have not looked back. So there's a whole, I know the Copelands and the Price and the Hagins and all of those connected to that group of charismatics. But there's a whole new group, and I can't even remember all of their names. But as a project, rescue members took one of these people and looked them up. The one I'm remembering now is, I can't remember his first name. I think it's John Crowder. He is the one that says you can get drunk in God. And he talks about worship as being high. And I don't want to pick on him. I mean, we were studying at least 10 of them, people that I really had not heard of. And I want to say that one of the things that we noticed about these people was that they seemed sincere. And they appear to be honest. Now, the problem with them is that they've lit a fire among foolish sheep. And with their doctrines of demons, they are literally coming forth with doctrines of demons. And I don't know what they are, the third wave, the fourth wave of charismatics, I don't know. But they are way, 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 way out there. I think this Crowder, he talks about being in more than one place at a time. Woo! I mean, some of the stuff that these folk are teaching is outlandish. But people have blinders on. They blind. They cannot see. Now, to go on a little bit here with Jesse, the children of God need to know that to be true in motive and faithful up to light is not sufficient safeguard against deception, and that it is not safe for them to rely upon their, in quotes, honesty of purpose as a guarantee protection from the enemy's wiles, instead of taking heed to the warnings of God's word and watching unto prayer. Man, oh man, oh man. I could think of other people's examples, but it's best for me to give my own. I had been in ministry a couple of years, and not even 2 years yet, maybe a year, because this year, the day of this happened was January the 8th, 1983. It was a Saturday. And my daughter and a little friend of hers, who was younger than her, Leandra, was 9. And all of a sudden, she started prophesying. The waters of heaven shall flow down upon the minister and the minister's daughter. These waters shall heal the city. Great miracles shall flow from this house. Never once did I check that. And I was faithful. I said, I was honest. I am honest. Honest, faithful. But now I am more wise. My passivity caused me to say, well, this is God giving me my message or my ministry. I'm going to now call it, since he said the waters of heaven shall heal, I'm going to call this ministry Healing Waters. And I operated in a ministry called Healing Waters for 25 years. Until God began to give me revelations. Besides warning the saints, which was the beginning, I began to get revelations of the Lord that led me to do study and research. And I came to find out that the fallen angel called Maitreya, his byword, his keyword is healing waters. And when you read up Maitreya, you find that Maitreya sounds a lot like the Antichrist. So, the devil got in on me and my honesty and faithfulness, my surrender to God, and sent me a prophecy in another honest, faithful child, through a child. How could anybody believe that this was the devil? He hooked me. But guess what? Jesse and God unhooked me. And no more of that stuff is happening. Anything supernatural happens with me, believe me, I try the spirits to see if it be of God.